While the majority of today we spent focusing on your individual agencies, I want to take a minute and talk about our collective impact, what everybody, all the sub-grantees in this room have done together. So Shelley this morning shared some stats about who we've served at the center across our time as the center. But I want you to know that in this grant period, all of our sub-grantees, through their center-funded projects, have served almost 6,000 Holocaust survivors, over 15,000 older adults with a history of trauma, over 2,500 family caregivers, and trained almost 5,000 professionals and volunteers. Yeah, and in one grant period, in a short time. You've all also served your communities in unique and innovative ways. You've addressed the urgent and growing needs of your communities by providing emergency financial assistance for home care, for housing assistance, food assistance, caregiving. You've reduced social isolation through virtual programming. You've improved nutrition and food access through volunteer grocery delivery programs. You've improved physical health through chair yoga and mindfulness sessions. And you've improved family caregiving experiences through respite and educational programming. You've taken the time to understand your communities. And you've provided programming that addresses their health and well-being in person-centered, trauma-informed ways. Now, if you're not impressed by your work yet, if that didn't impress you, all of today didn't impress you, all of your work through this period didn't impress you, I have more proof of how impactful you all are. Not only have our sub-grantees served thousands of older adults and family caregivers through diverse programming, your services have lasting impacts on your clients. Your impact can be seen across all of our programs, from our Grapevine Innovations Program to Expanded Critical Supports to national networks. For example, all older adults and family caregivers that participate in projects hosted by our Grapevine Innovations cohort are asked the same question. They're asked, as a result of your participation in this project, rate your agreement that the project improved your overall health and well-being. Now, we're still in this grant period, but the preliminary results are quite impressive. 88% of participants agreed or strongly agreed that their participation improved their overall well-being. And 85% agreed or strongly agreed that participation improved their overall health. These are impressive at face value. These are great numbers, but it's even more impressive when you consider who you're actually serving. You are serving older adults and family caregivers who are vulnerable. These populations are telling you not just that your programming is great and that it's maintaining their health and well-being, it's telling you that you're improving it. And your impact goes beyond the communities that you're supporting. We are actually seeing a shift in aging services as a whole. In the center's recent national study, we saw the impact of your use of the PCTI approach on the sector. This study measures aging services sector's understanding, use, and capacity for the PCTI approach. In all measures of the study, organizations that have received center funding outperformed organizations that did not receive center funding. We also saw that organizations that received center funding outperformed other organizations in their PCTI capacity. So they had a higher capacity to actually use and implement the PCTI approach. So you all are proof that with dedicated funding, policy, and time, the PCTI approach can improve the health and well-being of care recipients, it can improve the outcomes and the work of your staff, and therefore it can improve your organization as a whole. And this finding does not stop with the national study. If you thought it did, you're wrong. When we look at outcomes from PCTI Essentials for Aging Services, our online training course, we see similar trends. Investments in the PCTI approach deepen understanding and capacity. It improves health and well-being. For many learners, PCTI Essentials deepened their understanding of aging, trauma, and the PCTI approach. I'm going to show you one example of this. At the start of the course, 13% of learners reported a deep understanding of the PCTI approach. By the time learners finished the course, that number jumped to 84%. So 84% of learners reported a deep understanding of the PCTI approach. And not only did we see knowledge gained, we saw confidence increase. 90% of learners that completed the course reported that the course increased their capacity and their confidence to use the PCTI approach. With this new understanding, learners can continue to use the PCTI approach and make it the standard in aging services. And with that, I want to take a quick second and tell you about how your work continues to propel us forward. We are excited to share that we have a new course coming out. It will be a 1-hour PCTI training course that will launch in early 2027. This new course will offer a zoomed-in view of aging with a history of trauma and the PCTI approach, designed specifically for aging services professionals and volunteers who are new to the PCTI approach. Your work continues to inspire us at the center. In addition to community-based organizations and all of you here today, we are widening our reach to engage additional partners and expand the use of the PCTI approach. And all of this could not be possible without everybody in this room. Your dedication to supporting your communities is changing your care recipients and your communities for the better, but it's also changing aging services too. And with that, I'm going to transition it over to Leah Bergen-Miller, who will lead us in the next portion of our session.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. My name is Leah Bergen-Miller, and I've been with the center since we began almost 11 years ago. So it really feels like a reunion to be here with all of you, and I'm really just so happy to see you. The words that I kept hearing today were joy, purpose, meaning, healing, growth, and empowerment. Those are not the words that you would think you'd hear from an aging and trauma conference, but that was the themes that I picked up from the day. So I want to first congratulate all of you for presenting at the inaugural Aging and Trauma Program Showcase and giving us the opportunity to learn from each of the impactful programs that you've created over the years. We couldn't be more proud of our 35 subgrantees who came from across the United States. You've shown what it looks like to be person-centered, trauma-informed, whether it be in a physical health program, mental health, social health, spiritual health, financial well-being. You've expanded access to resources, and ultimately, you've improved the lives of older adults with a history of trauma and their family caregivers. You've become leaders in the person-centered trauma-informed movement, educating, inspiring, and pushing the aging services to think differently about what care looks like. We are so deeply grateful for our partners to come across the aging space. Experts, community leaders, academics, sponsors, funders, policymakers who've joined ways to brainstorm how to make person-centered trauma-informed care principles in every level, interpersonal, organizational, societal, public policy. Throughout today, we've named challenges, shared promising practices, and developed actionable strategies that will shape the next chapter of our PCTI implementation. When I first applied for a job at Jewish Federations almost 11 years ago, right before the job interview, like anyone, I Googled person-centered trauma-informed care. And there was 0 results. 0, not one. Not even like a bad definition, no definitions. And now, when I just looked it up the other day, there was over 30 pages of different examples of person-centered trauma-informed care. So I didn't realize that the newly coined term had not been formally defined until we defined it. And now, national organizations like Advancing States, the US government is promoting it. Jewish social service agencies are embedding it. The National Indian Council on Aging integrated it. The American Journal of Psychiatry and the Texas Health and Human Services are all publishing it. Origins Training and Consulting are conducting trainings on it. I had never even heard of them. The states in Pennsylvania and Maryland are promoting person-centered trauma-informed care. And this is a result of when trauma becomes a public issue, when the Administration for Community Living advances this idea that policies must be person-centered and trauma-informed, from including trauma in the National Family Caregiver Strategy to sharing person-centered trauma-informed resources across the government. The Administration for Community Living has advanced this practice. So the person-centered trauma-informed approach, which once only lived in the minds and hopes of a few people, is now shaping the national conversation on aging. And we could never have imagined the breadth of organizations we would one day fund. A university from North Dakota, a project of the oldest hospital in the United States of America, Orthodox communities that often fall through the cracks, and the largest area agency on aging in the whole country. Jewish organizations in small cities like Indianapolis and big cities like San Francisco, not to mention SAGE in Colorado's largest service provider for people living with HIV. This work is personal to all of us. So I want you to please stand up. If you've stayed up late at night wondering how to work full-time while caring for a family member. Stand up if you've ever supported the high-needs client with complex trauma. Stand up if you've ever helped a colleague who is burning out or to improve morale. Stand up if you've ever tried to convince a client to accept the help that your agency offers. Or try to fundraise for an idea that you know that your community needs and desperately needs it. Or how about trying to get buy-in from a supervisor or board member to adopt a more person-centered trauma-informed policy? Or persuade your elected officials to better support older adults and caregivers? Or convince a community partner to participate in your person-centered trauma-informed training. That is everybody in this room. It's personal to each and every one of us, which is why I'm so glad to have your time for you all to be here today. So thank you. First, give yourselves a round of applause for the work that we do each and every day. Here. So each of us has a story and a partner. Each of us has a story that fuels our commitment. And mine began with my grandparents, who were Holocaust survivors. And in the lobby, you'll see a video of a survivor who was a close friend of theirs, someone whose life was directly touched by a JFNA funded PCTI program. Older adults carry stories. Holocaust survivors hear about anti-Semitic attacks in their community. Vietnam War veterans struggle when they see today's wars on the news. And communities carry layers of historical trauma that shape how they age and how they trust and how they heal. And this is why person-centered trauma-informed care matters, because trauma doesn't disappear with time, but healing can grow and support dignity and understanding. So as you return home on your flight or train, I ask you to write down, there's a sheet inside of your folders that is rainbow colored, and it has each of the person-centered trauma-informed principles. And if you could write down something that you've learned today, maybe 2 practices that you want to implement in your work, or 2 PCTI policies that you want to share with colleagues or supervisors, or circle the names of 2 individuals from the contact sheet of who you could call on for support or you want to talk to problem solve. And so with that, movements don't grow from inspiration alone. They grow from commitments, small and specific and intentional commitments that build on the momentum. So thank you all for being here today, and I'd like to hand it over to Shelley.
Thank you, Leah. I typically don't like to speak after Leah because she always makes me tear up. Thank you. That was beautiful, and I don't often think about, what you said, you Google search person-centered trauma-informed care and how far we've really come, and it's really thanks to all of you who put all of your great work out there for everybody else to learn from. Thank you for sharing that great work with us today. Keep sharing, keep talking. We're here for you. Thank you.